Hi, my name is Heather Miller, and I'm here to give you a very brief overview of IRB and why it's important to you and what it means. IRB stands for the Institutional Review Board, and institutional review boards are responsible for the ethical review of human participants or human subjects or their records in research. If you can imagine a group of people, it's a board of individuals who review research to make sure that participants are going to be protected or the data that represents those participants are going to be protected. The IRB started in the 70s, and it is based on something called the Belmont Report, which is a very short report that you can read. You can Google Belmont Report. And it was written by a group of concerned individuals regarding research that was happening with human participants. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. But if you can think about ethics, what's right and wrong, good or bad, regulations, research, people's personal moral principles, ethical principles, codes of conduct, IRBs are constantly weighing the pros and cons based on the situation, based on the researcher, the setting, of all of these things to make sure that the participants are going to receive the best and most ethical treatment and that they will be protected in the research process. That's the purpose of the IRB. So the promotion of ethical principles is very important in promoting ethical research. This includes protections even with intellectual property, the proper conduct, professional conduct, clear communication, and also anything that would be if you were going to falsify a response of a participant or you were going to report something that wasn't correct, right? And the participant came to the IRB and said, hey, I don't think this researcher is doing the correct thing. The IRB examines all of these things. So they get everything ready to go so that the participants are protected and the research is correct. And IRBs also help if a participant calls the IRB and says, hey, I wasn't being treated fairly. It's all about promoting ethical principles and protecting research participants in research. So the history of the IRB unfortunately came from a lot of things that were very unsavory. In the Nuremberg Code back in the late 30s and 1940s, people were exposed to harmful gases. They were infected with things like tuberculosis, dunked into icy waters, deprived of oxygen to see what would happen to them. They had no ability to consent to whether or not they wanted to be a part of these things. The Tuskegee syphilis trial went all the way from the 1930s into the 60s, and this was a group of black sharecroppers who were given syphilis, and even after there was a cure for syphilis, because the medical and the research community wanted to follow to see what would happen to the people, they weren't given the cure. This is the study that started raising the concerns for the Belmont Report. And again, you can find out more about the Tuskegee syphilis trial by Googling it. So the Belmont Report, which was written in the 70s to look at protecting human participants, and it is the foundational document for IRBs. It's about respect for persons, beneficence, and justice. It was put into place in 1979. The respect for persons is about treating people as autonomous agents and helping people with diminished autonomy, making sure that you're not taking advantage of people who might not be able to fully understand what they're about to get into. As a researcher, you need to explain it and they need to understand. Beneficence, about doing unto others what you would have them do unto you. You wouldn't want to do something that to you that you wouldn't be willing, you wouldn't want to be doing something to somebody else that you wouldn't be willing to be participatory in yourself. And finally, justice and equal risk. So you want to distribute the risk and potential benefits of research equally among everybody. It's not based on anything. Everybody should have an equal opportunity regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, geography, religious beliefs, everything to be a part of the research project. So the IRB is responsible for and basically making sure that this Code of Federal Regulations is complied with for protecting human participants in research. It promotes privacy and confidentiality. It makes sure that autonomy and dignity are taken into account. It's minimizing the risks while maximizing the benefit and making sure that the participants have the ability to make an informed decision. It's very important in protecting vulnerable populations, and the IRB takes their role very seriously and looks at all parts of the research study. So that's a very quick and dirty overview of the IRB. Please be sure to check out the Belmont report and also the Office of Human Research Protection website to learn more about the information. Thank you.